Cookie Ranch, and today I'm going to show you how to make some marshmallow fondant using colored marshmallows. This is going to give you a colored fondant in the end. I want to try making a fondant with these marshmallows to get kind of a skin tone or a brownish tone. And these little marshmallows are called ice cream cone marshmallows. They have like an ice cream cone color with different colors of ice cream on top, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. They do have those flavors in it, so I don't know how it's going to taste in the end, but we'll find out. When it's all mixed together, it should be kind of a brownish, tannish color. And so let's get started. You need 1 pound of miniature marshmallows. I have 2 bags, 2 8-ounce bags, which makes 1 pound. And I'm going to put those into a large microwave-safe bowl. You need to add a little bit of water with these marshmallows. Ooh, this smells good. You need 2 tablespoons of water. One, 2. You may need some extra later on, so I'm going to keep that off to the side. And then this is going to go in the microwave for a little while. Melt it and then stir it. Got the marshmallows in there with the water. We don't want to cook it too long to melt it, so you can go in 30-second intervals, or if you want to start out with a longer time and then move down to a shorter amount of time, like start out with a minute at a time and then go down to 30 seconds, you can. But you just want to go slow and watch it so that it doesn't burn. I'm going to start out with a minute. And then I'm going to stir it. Now the marshmallows are sticky, and we do use Crisco in this recipe, or vegetable shortening. I use Crisco. And I'm going to put a little of that on my spoon so that the marshmallows don't stick as badly to the spoon. You want to make sure you have nice clean hands for this. I have washed my hands once, I'm going to wash them again because we're going to need the marshmallow stuff. Your hands are going to get all over in this. You want to make sure you have very clean hands. I put a little bit of solid vegetable shortening on my spoon, and I'm just going to rub that in on the spoon because I'm going to stir my sticky marshmallows with it. Okay, I've got a little bit left over in my hands. You can rub it in your hands because you're going to need it. Or you're also going to need some solid shortening on your work surface once the marshmallows are done. Okay, let's stir the marshmallows. Okay, I can see they're starting to melt down in the bottom. Ooh. And that water that we added is down there. Oh yeah, we're getting a nice brown color. Goodness, these marshmallows are melting quickly, but they still have a ways to go. So, I'm going to put them back in for about 30 seconds. Okay. Getting soupier looking. Looks like melted chocolate ice cream. stir it up real good. Now these colored marshmallows, they were pink, white, and brown, and tan for the chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and ice cream cones. And so all those colors are getting mixed together, and it's coming out kind of a chocolate milk color, which hopefully will be good for a skin tone. If it's too dark, we may have to lighten it up with some food coloring. I have some white food coloring and a variety of others that we can use to lighten it or change the color to what we want. Okay, there's just a few marshmallows left in here that need to melt up and really well. Pop it in for about 20 seconds this time. And that should do it. Ooh, it's starting to bubble. It's almost too much. Good thing I didn't do 30 seconds. Oh yeah. Just right. That looks really good. Okay. Now what we're going to do is add some powdered sugar. This recipe calls for 2 pounds of powdered sugar, but you may not use all of that. I buy my powdered sugar in bulk, so I actually have to weigh it out. But you can buy packages that are already in the measurement that you need, such as 1 pound packages, I think 2 or 3 pound packages. Like I said, I buy mine in bulk, so I have to measure it out. So of our 2 pounds, I want to put in approximately 3/4 of that. Doesn't have to be exact. Let's see how close that is. Ooh, yes. I'm going to stir that in. Pour the powdered sugar in on top of the marshmallows, and you just stir it in, mix it in real good, and it's going to start looking like a dough. It's sticky. Scrape it off the sides of the bowls, work it in. Now this powdered sugar is also going to lighten up the color a little bit too. So, we may come out just right. Okay. Pretty dry looking, but you want to mix it all in really good. You don't want it too wet right now. You want it pretty dry because you're going to have to work with your hands in a minute like Play-Doh or bread dough. And so you don't want it real sticky. You have to be able to handle it. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of scraping some of the powdered sugar off of the sides and trying to incorporate that in. If you get mixed in and it's still too sticky, add some of the powdered sugar that you didn't use. I'd say this recipe has a lot of approximations and very few exact measurements. Because you kind of have to watch the texture of the product and adjust your ingredients according to that texture. I'm going to need some of that shortening on my hands pretty soon. Ooh, still sticky. Get some of that powdered sugar from the sides of the bowl. Be sure you use a strong spoon. If it's not very strong handle, it may break on you. It's starting to look like taffy almost, isn't it? Okay. Now whenever I wipe down my work surface, with a disinfectant wipe. I'm going to do that one more time. And then I'm going to put some shortening out on this surface. Some solid shortening out on this surface. And put the marshmallow fondant out on top of that. So, you want to use a liberal amount of Crisco. I'd say have about a half a cup on hand, minimum. See, I'm just kind of smearing it into the surface that I'm going to be working on. This will help keep the fondant from sticking to my work surface. I need lots of grease, and you may have to add more as you're working. Okay, before I get too far along, what I'm going to do is take a blob of shortening and just set it out on my work surface so that I can get to it easily, rub my hands in it, and I don't have to keep digging my hands into the can of shortening. If you're one that likes to dig your hands into a can of shortening, I suggest to get one of those little tiny cans of shortening and use it just for that, dipping your hands in, if that's easier for you. Make sure your hands are greased well. Right in between your fingers, the tips of your fingers, all over. This is going to get messy. Wouldn't hurt to wear an apron either. Ah! It's sticking to my bowl. It's so sticky. It's a nice color though. It's almost the color of flesh, which is what I need. So that's perfect. Yay! I hope it tastes good. Now, if you want to add a little bit of flavoring to your fondant, you can, but since these marshmallows are flavored, I didn't want to add another flavor in. That'd be just a little bit too much, I think. Like if you were using white marshmallows, you might want to add some vanilla flavoring or some butter flavoring, whichever you prefer. Okay. I'm going to get it all out, so I have quite a bit of fondant. Some stuck in the bottom here. You could wear some disposable rubber gloves, like I have here, but the chances are the fondant's going to stick to it. If I were going to use the rubber gloves, I would use it to work in some coloring, food coloring into my fondant, so I can get food coloring all over my hands, because food coloring will stay in your hands. Okay,